Okay, we're live? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me make sure I can see chat. Oh yeah, we're streaming. We're streaming! Hold on. Holy shit, it's been like half a month already. It's probably more. We're back. We're on Hypixel. Again. Lately, that's what we're doing. Hello! Hello, how are you? Yeah, I didn't go to school. I know. Oof. How are you, Crafter? Oh. Did he leave already? Oh, hello! Hi. We're streaming. Nice! I'm at my house. What am I making? I forgot, I needed labs. Nice. How was your exams? Because I know you had exams today. I didn't. Oh. Exam suck. What exams do you have today? I don't remember what. Oh, you had English probably. I think. I have English exams tomorrow. And we were talking about this. Are we? I don't remember. I was probably talking about it at some point. Oh. I have no idea what we're doing today. I got bored and was like, we should stream! Because I'm not doing anything. It's not like anyone I know is doing anything today. So. On SkyBlock. The first time, like, since I started streaming. I don't know what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna go on the main island and do quests. So, what are my quests? Quest log. Okay, I need to get wool. Where do I get wool? Hi, Toast! Hi! I was just talking to Toast too, so. Hi, Toast. Where do I get wool? I don't know. Then we have to go to the farming island. That old thing we did. We can just buy it from the store and give it to him. Sheep. I know sheep. But like. Oh, at the barn. Yep. I haven't been on Hypixel in months. Well, on Hypixel SkyBlock in months. I was on Hypixel not that long ago. But. They've been updating it, and I have not been on. Talk to the farmhand. This is gonna keep, missions keep guys switching on me, so it'll be fun. Mushroom desert that has sheep? It's a mushroom desert. Yo, wee! Oh. That sucks. Farming 4. Farming level 5. We're just gonna try to get to 5. Really quick, so we can go and get sheep. I love to see that absolutely nothing has changed on SkyBlock in like ages. New stuff, nothing huge. I have absolutely no idea where the sheep are, though. Oh. Definitely have plenty of carrots. I haven't seen sheep around here. I'm just gonna assume there isn't any sheep at all. Am I level 45 yet? Ah, we're level 5 yet. Let's go find some sheep. Ugh. Talk to the villager inhabitants. Sounds like this place is deserted. I mean, it's a desert. It'd be funny though. Hello. Oh, you're pretty. Oh, I like her skin. She's got flowers. Oh, that's cute. There's Jake. Jammer, nice. Who are you? Maybe. I already talked to you. Oh. Where's this fellow that we shouldn't trust? Where is he? A sheep? What are you? Oh, that's a skull. I was like, new area discovered. What is it? Why am I going so much faster now? This is so much faster. Oh. I thought that was a bridge. Found the sheep. Found them. Found the sheep. Oh yeah. Then how much do I need? I think. I'll just bring him like a handful. Wool. Bing bong. Bing bong. Oh. Game sucks. Okay, this works better. We're gonna use this. You think like 9 will be enough? Probably. 9 or 10. We'll go with 10. You're killable. Keep going. Oh! Well, that threw me back. Music. I found a new playlist. No idea if it's copyright free, but the music is so good. So I hope it is. If not, I gotta find something to take the music off. But really good music. What's that? Oh, that's the cave. Cave island. More carrots will work. It's not like we eat, but I ain't sell them. And some of this. Back to the main island. Main island we go. What the? Sometimes I forget there's more than normal armor in SkyBlock. I'm like, Jesus Christ. That's a weird skin. Like, oh, it's not skin. Now, I have no idea where the carpenter is. Absolutely no clue. I have a second profile on this and I'm just like, I kinda really want my grappling hook back already. From my other account. Or my other profile on here. It is so much easier to get around. You carpenter? What is this? Okay. I don't know what that means. Math? Maths enjoyer. 29, 27. I have no idea what that is. I know what's maths, but like, I'm not good at maths. Math. Not my favorite thing. Oh yeah, we're looking for the carpenter. That works. Two carpenters? Yeah. How much do you need? Little. That's how much. How much wool do you need? Man. Jeez. Can I just get wool from you? Do you sell wool? Wait, wool? There. Can I have some more to give to this man because he wants way more than I have? I wonder if he'll take it even. If not, we're building something out of wool. That'd be fun. Oh, we need a stack. We need a stack of wool. Go back to the island. Map's not loading in anymore. Let's. I might all my junk turned on so I can actually. I'm gonna ignore the fact that all of the villagers look like crayons. The texture pack because. Like, oh, Doc, what's the kid? Your kid is a crayon. Crayon. And they're all yellow crayons. Yellow's like the least nicest crayon. Oh, my favorite. Whew. Sorry, I got up like 2 hours. That's a lie. I got up like 2 or 3 hours ago. I'm tired still. If it was a normal day, I would have got up like 6 hours ago. 6 or 7. Like, oof. Back to the sheep. I think I have to use. It might be easier if I actually had shears. So shears would be nice. I don't have shears right now. Bing bong. Then this one. You just wait. What is this? Oh, that's where I got the speed from. I just thought that we got it from here. Did anyone just see an item stand pop up? That was strange. Strange, I might say. What else is on this island? Up there. Oh, I do. Let's go look. And up we go. What's this like a little thingy? That's nice. There's more sheep. I'm guessing anywhere there's grass, there's sheep. Go. Womp womp. I like the fact that they have the stones way more than they have a bridge. Yeah, you can make some really nice bridges, but that's way more fun. And it looks more like what they were going for. Oasis-y. Hey. Come back. Down here. Oh. Oh! Is there fish? There's probably fish. All the way back. All the way back. To the island. All the way back. Sorry. A lot of people are texting me today. By a lot, I mean it's been like 4 people, and that's more than people I talk to over the phone usually. Sorry. Bing. Bing bong. Way back over here. I have all the wood today. Well, sorry. I keep getting distracted. I need to like throw my phone on a different table. I just don't want to. Because I feel bad ignoring people. So I try. This isn't the way to the camera. I feel bad ignoring them. Because. Wait, can I get all? Wait, do they have not oxide? They don't have my favorite one. Bing bong. Okay, now getting carbon DXP. Oh. Cool. I won't do that. I sell all the carrots that I have. I have a lot of carrots in my inventory. Can I sell my SkyBlock menu? That'd be hilarious. Like, oh, no more SkyBlock menu. Where I discovered though. Have I never been in here before? Just let me open the panel. Secret coins and also earn interest at the start of every season. Yeah. Let me add my stuff so I can run around and not lose it all. Please. What else? What areas haven't I don't remember. Have I been to the archery shed? Oh. Let's go over the archery shed. Where's the archery shed? It's over here. I'm getting all lost. Have I been in here? Ding bong. Yes, I have. Womp womp womp. In there, apparently. Been in here? This is someone's house. Here. Whee! And down here. Ew. Yeah, I don't have a bow. Have I I've been in the town hall? Question. I'm good. SkyBlock of picture. Oh, sorry. Haven't been over here yet. Is there anything over here missing? Oh. Merchant. There's a plumber somewhere. Yep. Also works with portals. That's weird. Also works with. Why would you want to soak up a portal? Okay. There's a darkest in you. No. I've seen it in my flames, destined for great things. For now, you should like to get to. Oh, alchemist shop. 45,000K. Okay. Sorry. What? Who are you? Forms. Okay. I have a forms account on you. Okay. You look that shit. Oh, that's so nice of you. Oh, that's sweet. I like you. You're nice. Wait, if I click you again, will you say? What the? This terrifying. Are those leather chest plates? Oh my god. I don't think anyone can afford that. Getting out of here. This looks like a cult. Jesus. Click. Have I been in here? Is this part of the hub? It is part of the hub. Okay, I've been doing the wrong thing. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice. This is nice. Oh, there's carrots. It's like a hobbit hole. Jeez. And prime real estate. Prime real estate. Hey, can I go up? Can go up the mountain. Hold on. Let's go up. 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 What's in here? Oh, did this go back down? There's an easy way up. Easy way is up for people who care. Are there houses up here? I've never noticed that before. Oh. Ooh. There's a castle! I need to start exploring hubs more on servers. Wait, I want to go up to the top first, and we'll go down and see the castle. Up we go. Wee. Jesus. Don't make me go back. Okay. Try again. Try again to get up there. And all the way up. Try not to glitch again, please. Oh. Maybe I'm gonna just need to take off my armor. I don't know. I have an idea. An idea to get up. There we go. Oh. Wait, is it 10 coins? Or is it 2,500? What else is it? Nothing cool. I spent... Actually, I didn't care, but... Up here. It's like a whole different area. Oh, that's right. Oh, let's go down. Oh, can I? Oh, I can waterfall them. You just need to go this way. Way. Okay. Fucked up. Okay. We almost took no damage getting down. That's impressive. Do the same here. There we go. Oh. That worked well. Museum? A museum. Wait. Hold on. This ain't a museum. What? Yeah, the Wizard's Tower, but no museum. Is it in here? Wait, we gotta find this museum now. Let me turn up my brightness for you guys so you can see. Oh, sorry. I like my game to be dark. I play alone. And with mods. Is this the museum? No. I don't see no museum. Hold on. Wait, what's that? Oh, apparently I already saw that. I didn't know that. Wee. Okay, up. Okay, I want to get to the Wizard's Tower. I've lost it. To the Wizard's Tower! Where'd you go? Ooh. This is nice. This is nice. Enchantresses. Be 2-man. I need some coffee 2-man. Up we go. Up, up, up. The wizards. That's definitely new. Last time I was in this. Have I been in this before? I think back before I was banned from Hypixel. I've been here on my other account. I was like, oh, this. They have wizards. It's just like empty space. Jesus. Is this Dante Part 2? Hold on. Hold on. Let me pick something really quick. That's not it. Where is it? Where's... Details. You know what? I give up. I'll fix all my settings later. For now, no animations for the pure sake of my FPS is shit. That felt nice. Up this way. What's this way? What's this? What? So confused. Okay, I want to try and find this museum we heard about earlier. Okay. Sorry, this is annoying me. I know, I love my texture packs, but sometimes that one, it's just so... Oh, it takes so much away. So much FPS killed by it. Okay, there we go. That means I can turn my animations back on. There we go. We're back in the hundreds for FPS. That's not so bad. Okay. Yeah. What's this? Jeez. Hi. Oh, anyone home? Hello? It's a very strange building to not have people in. This is not something I remember being here before. What the fuck? What is this? Wait, hold on. Hold on. So confused. Why are there houses and trees but no people? Next thing you know, there's gonna be a black market up here. He's, like to say, very, very nice. I'll have to come back up here later. If anything's changed. Whew. Very mystical. Are we on top of that big old tree? The stupid question, yes we are. Don't want to fall all the way down because I don't want to go back to spawn. Where's the middle one? I think we can go in the middle tree to get down. Or we have to walk all the way, which is annoying, but... Or that works. That works. That works. A fast way to get down. Trying to turn around the side of it? What is this? Sketchy. This is. That's a tree you'd find a black market in. What's this? Sorry. I haven't been on in a long time. I need to come on more often. Onto the server. Wow. It's nice. Here. Oh, it's a pub. I can... Ooh. Oh, there's more. Psst, listen here, not too loud. My cousin. Organization. Business action. Sweet items. He runs a nearby house. Looking serious and come back. Okay. Psst, listen here. Listen here. By nearby house, does he mean this one? Is there like... I knew there was a black market. Probably. Tells Adam what's out of a nearby house. Is this a nearby house? Like, we have to crawl in the back door. I do have to get in the back door. No. I don't think... Yeah, no, you can't get in there. There's no ways in, so I'm gonna assume different house. Different house. Different house. High level. What's... High level? What? That's not terrifying. This. That, however, is terrifying. There are mobs here? Hold on. What? Watch out for guard dogs? What? Not killing any dogs. They are not gonna make me do that. Hold on. Ruins. Let me get up here. Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna get it. Not with the server. What's that? Is that a house? Is that the house we were looking for? Oh, that's the logger's house. Log man. Egg. Oh god, cannot remember what fairy souls I have, and I don't. Next time I'll go rewatch the VODs. Let's go back up here. I think that would be a good idea. No, I don't. What's wrong with your face? Shit. This is cool, but why is it here? The basement. Wait, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. Oh shit. Think the wolves attack? Do they attack? I think they're supposed to attack. The real question is, who wanted that? Why is that there? I have a feeling that somewhere is planning to try and take over this. They're trying to fuck shit up. What's in here? Ooh, zombies. Wee woo. Now back to the top of the yard. Alright, we're back here. What quest do we have? Quest log. Okay. Talk to Marco. Let's go find Marco. Okay. Go find this guy who they speak of. Marco. I think we see. Would he be with like the flowers? I don't know. Where do artists live? Here. Oh, I found him. See. Wait, this is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red dye. Okay, we got this. And then we give it to him. Okay. Nice. Mining minute order farming. Eight. And you. I need gray, cyan, lapis. I don't, in fact, have lapis. So. Stacks. Oh, I gotta go and check on the minions. I need to get stuff, so. Ba 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 ba. Would this be enough? No. Aw. Wait, is this cobblestone or stone? Cobble. Okay. Go this way. There we go. Boom! Awesome! Have any oak wood in here? I think we're gonna need more than that. Yeah, we need more than that. And then here, and then I'll plant all the flowers. Can. Oh, just throw this in the chest. You can't use it. Oh, I have more flowers. Aluminium, and then all the way back here. Bump. That man had a lot of hearts. That. Go to the spider den. This way. Pop, 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 pop. Advance through. Bing bong. But talk to him and watch if Spider's trying to get it to the top of Spider-Man. Lots of photos screaming about personal of them. Right, no. Ooh, there's a house! Another house! To the house! Want to go up there. Is there like an actual way to get up, or are we climbing? Up. Cross. There is an actual way up, but why am I so fast? Please slow down. a 1-block jump. Why can't I make it? Okay, we're up. Grandma's house. Wait, Grandma's house. Adventure, I am blah, 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 blah. Okay. Menu. Got it. Why does Grandma have spider heads in her house? Oh my god. Grandma is a literal psychopath. Why isn't anyone in this city normal? Hi, Shaggy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. See if we can kill any spiders. People who live here are literal psychopaths. I've seen no normal building or places. Okay. I'm back to zombies. Zombies are so much easier. Ugh. Back. There we go. Think we should get a new sword. Love the speed thing, but after a while of accidentally clicking it, it's starting to get annoying. We're just gonna there we go. Only a server that I don't have to deal with people. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, we should get a new sword, probably. This one, it's not that good. And it gets really annoying randomly getting speed. Starter gear. Try some of my starter gear. Do I have any armor on? I do in fact need pants. I have a sword of any sorts? Can I have that one? Okay, undead and spider. 100 coins. Okay. Other side of town. I'm just gonna grab out all my coins and the best sword I can. I'm measly 1,000 coins. Back to you. I need to get spider, diamond. 35. I could just get a diamond sword and reforge it. I think that's what we're doing. Here we go. Odd. That's good. Then smoke bag. Sharpness. And then what's the enchantment that's like not scavenger? Comes to attention. I don't have an anvil, but yeah, I don't have an anvil. Can I use this one? Can. Okay. Don't have the experience. Well, we're gonna go get some really quick then. Okay. I'm gonna have to kill so many zombies. What experience do I need? 9. Okay. Hit. I don't know. What's the best way to do this? Obviously, we can like really just fight zombies and stuff, or we could go and try and get on to either. Let's walk over here. Or we could, like, we're on this island right now. Try and hold on, let me figure out what I'm doing. Really quick. I think we should either try and fight the spiders. Because first of all, they have a better response with coins. I like coins. And why can't I words today? Words are hard. I don't like them today. So we can either... I think we're gonna go with spiders. Okay, also, I'm not frozen. I'm just doing something really quick. Okay, I think we're gonna go with spiders. And we're gonna go with spiders. Those. Wait, what is down here? I know there's stuff down here, but like, well, I mean, not stuff I can deal with, but salvage repair. Oh, dungeon. Unfortunately, I don't do dungeons. Or I haven't ever done the dungeon. So. Or do I care enough? Or SkyBlock also. Okay, that is nowhere close to 9 XP. I have to wait a little bit to toggle. What was it? Toggle. Airdrop sound. Okay. I have a carrot! Why did I get a carrot? Why do I have a carrot? Oh, I was just... Oh, I got a carrot zombie drop. Nice. Wee woo. Back over there. Here. Oh, that worked well. That worked very well. Definitely. Buddy, stop. Right. I'm not sick. Probably. I'm gonna back up real quick. To regain some health. Oh. It looks like I wasn't the one to kill that spider. Spider did definitely talk to me. Is that a spider drop here? Well, I tried. I tried to kill the spider. Okay. We're just gonna keep retreating every once in a while. You try to like sorry. I'm rearranging my blanket because I'm curled up in a blanket playing Minecraft. You guys already know I'm playing Minecraft, but I'm curled up in a blanket right now. It is really cold in my house and I'm wearing shorts. I could go put pants on, I just don't want to. Pants are for people who actually have brain cells. Clearly, I do not. I always thought Arachne was on the top of the mountain, not in here. I have a whole list of things I have to research. Figure out what the hell is going on. Oh. We're almost there. Okay, we're almost at 9. What are these guys up to? I don't know what corrupt Arachne is, I'm gonna be honest. Well, I need to make an updated version of my character because I'm using my streaming overlay from like a while ago. They're cute and all, but still. I wish I had my new guy. Hold on. I'm just checking something really quick, I'm sorry. Hi. I just don't want to die. Be quick. Okay. I'm just restarting this, because why not? It just clears up some of the screen, because it seems like my stuff isn't working again. But when does it actually work? I was like, why do I have rotten flesh? Jesus. Jesus. Okay. What were we doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go find the twins. Gravel twins. If I can find them, we'll do their little mission thing. Because hell is an Arachne keeper. It's down here. Is that kid up here? No, Rick's there. Alright, back down we go then. What else is down here? There we go. Sorry. Once again, having to fix chat. Great. What's this guy doing? Oh, this random dude. Okay, that's brick again. We've gone in circles. Okay. That makes this less confusing to find. Ironing it. We'll just get some gravel, I guess. I feel like we'll need it. Why does he need 2 iron ingots for shovel? I was curious why that was there. Where can you find a Ragnarok level 500? I don't know. What's in here? Circle. Got it. We got a lot of gravel now. This is a cool little place. What's up here? Wait, is there something there? Ooh. There is. Oh. Just back up to the top. I just want to go this way. I know I can't go over, but I'm just looking. Just looking. I feel like I haven't been talking enough, but like, oh well. My brain hurt. Words not cooperate. What a cool YT. Every time someone has YT or like YouTube in their name, I immediately want to try and find them on like YouTube just because I want to see if they actually have a YouTube channel or if they're just like have what? Or just have like a random what? A randomly put it there. I don't know what that is. Well, this is a little cooler now. Oh, they made it a lot cooler. Jesus. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I feel like this is a bad idea. I don't think there's a way back up. No, there's not. They probably didn't expect people to go down here, though. Whee! Bombs away! Wait, I have a pet active. Can I see it? I can! Nice. Nice, nice. Oh, it's his head. Jesus. Well, right here. Oh god. Right here seems like a pretty good place to end the stream. Nice seeing you guys. Hopefully I'll stream again soon. And we'll be back. Anyways, thank you for watching stream. I'm not rating anyone today, but it's nice seeing you. Bye bye. Bye. Like Mitawa.